Thank you very much. So welcome to AKL. Our shows always runs on Wednesdays, and we are really grateful to have you today. Thank you for creating time to join us and share with our audience. It's humbling and it's an honor to host you. So for those who are following us today, we have Bob Mwiti. Bob Mwiti is one great guy that I've been following online. He's been doing great things, and I thought that we should host him today to come and share with us some insight on how to, what it involves to travel and go to the US. So Bob, welcome to AKL and feel at home.
Asante sana.
Yes.
Yeah.
So without further ado, Bob, would you mind just telling us who Bob is, where he was born, where he grew up, and where you currently?
Absolutely. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be on your platform. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Yes.
My name is Bob. My second name is Mwiti. I'm originally from Meru. I came to the US in 2009. I grew up in Meru, and then went to the local public primary school there. I grew up in the village with my grandparents. So I went to the local primary school, and then I went to a school called Nkobo High School, also in Meru. Then I did well to get to university. I did my undergraduate in Kenya. Then I relocated here in the US in 2009 for my master's. And since then, I've been in the US. I now run an organization, a consulting firm based out of Tampa, Florida, here in the US.
Wow.
Yeah.
So basically, you moved to the US in 2009 to further your studies.
Correct. Yes, I came here to do my MBA in professional accountancy, and then I graduated in 2011. Yeah.
Niuliza tu kwa Kiswahili sienda sana. I remember when I came also to Australia, nilisema nikimaliza tu shule nikurudi nyumbani. Haujawahi maliza huko?
I know, right? Yeah, I mean, even me, actually, I thought I'd go back straight after graduation. But, when you come here and, you spend a lot in school also, you want to recoup some of that money that you spent, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I decided to stay a little bit longer, and now it's over 10 years. So
over 10 years. Yeah. But if it's it's for the good of you and the generation after you, and of course the entire community. I remember my thinking was, when I finish, I'll go back and use the knowledge that I've gained here and put back into the community that I am from. But it's working out still. Like I'm still here and I'm still giving back to the community, which is
exactly.
Still,
yeah. You can still impart what is back there when you're still here. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So yes, thank you so much, Bob. Talking of community and impacting community and also giving back to the community is one of the greatest things that people would wish to do. Personally, that is my aim as well, and my goal in life is that at least to impact one or two in that very community that I come in from. So I've been following you, and I'm really grateful that I managed to get hold of you. Took us or tell us about Bob Mwiti and the Wings to Fly and a program that we've been running up and with the youth and the young men and women that I've been seeing and checking online.
Yeah. I believe you're talking about the Kenya Airlift program, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now, when I came to the US in 2009, it took me almost 8 years to get here. I was denied visa 4 times. Okay. Me, I finished, I'm pretty old. I finished my high school in 2001. Wow. And then I thought in 2002 I'll be somewhere. Initially, I wanted to go to the UK, all right, because I have my dad over there. And then it worked out. I went, I got denied visa. I tried again, I got denied visa. Then I decided, you know what, I think I'm going to continue with my undergraduate in Kenya. By the time I had already acquired admission to University of Nairobi, Toronto campus for Bachelor of Science in Mathematics to study there. So I was like, let me just continue with my studies at UN. And then somewhere, I think some time after I joined UN, I was transferred to Strathmore University because there was a strike and all that. So I ended up continuing my studies at Strathmore University. So, but in between all that time in 2009, I had tried a few more times and I was denied visa. But finally we said, you know what, I think we're going to try to come to the US, to do my master's. And that's really how I ended up coming here in the US. Now, when I graduated from school here in the US as a master's student, I struggled a lot finding work. Okay. And this is because also when I was in Kenya, when I got my visa, I was just happy that I'd gotten the visa. Okay. For me, it was, I'm just coming to the US. I had no idea what I needed to do for me now to transition from being a student to maybe being a skilled worker to live and work in the US. And this is something that I always see with pretty much everybody within our community, right? Even where you are in Australia. People are always happy they are coming to Australia, or they are happy coming to the US, whether to come and study and all that. But they don't have a strategy of how they're gonna figure it out once they graduate from school. Okay. And that's a challenge that I faced now when I graduated from school here. I didn't know how to transition now from being a student to a skilled worker. Now, when you graduate from school here in the US as an international student, if you're doing, like, for example, an MBA program, you're given 1 year of work authorization. Okay. And within that 1 year, you must find an employer who is willing to sponsor you so that now you can stay here long term. Okay. Now, for you to get that employer, you have to have skills that Americans don't have. Otherwise, companies here, they are required to hire Americans first. Okay, they can't just go and start hiring you as an alien, for a job that an American can do. So you have to have skills that Americans don't have. All right. Now, when I graduated with my MBA, I used to work in Kenya as a teller at Equity Bank. Okay, so the kind of skills that I had a BCom from Kenya. I came here to do my MBA. I had some little bit of experience working at Equity Bank, but the kind of skills that I had, those are usually skills that most Americans have here in the US. So it was very hard for me to find an employer who was willing to give me a job, and a job that would sponsor me to live longer than 1 year after I graduated from school. Okay, because once you graduate from school, you're given 1 year of work authorization. And within that 1 year, you must find an employer who can be able to give you long-term work authorization papers. Okay, so I struggled, and luckily, I'm one of those people who are usually very inquisitive in nature. I was able to figure out that mostly Indian students or Asian students, they usually graduate and get good jobs, but also mostly in the tech space. And I realized that in the tech space, pretty much like even where you are in Australia, I believe there are also a lot of Indians in the tech industry. So most of people who work in the tech industry are usually Indians. Okay, and tech skills, especially consulting skills, not many Americans have those kind of skills. So it's easy for a company to sponsor you to work a long term if you have those kind of skills. So I got trained quickly as an Oracle systems analyst, and that's really how I ended up getting a job and getting a company that sponsored me to live and work here in the US long term. Okay. Now, based on all those kind of challenges that I faced when I was coming here as a student, getting denied visa, graduating from school here and not getting a good job, and also having worked in the tech industry and having found out that there's opportunities there, but there's not really many of our people who work in the tech space, I was like, I think there's a lot of our people back in Kenya who must be very, very smart, okay, maybe even smarter than me, and they may be looking for opportunities to come and study here in the US, but also even stay and work here long term like I wanted to do. But they don't know how to. Okay, either they don't know how to find the funding, Or even those who find funding, when they come here, they're not able to figure out how to transition now and get get employed and get papers, because papers is a big deal here. Because a lot of our people back home, before you get here, you don't know anything about green card, permanent residency and things like those. Okay. And we have quite a big number of our people within our community who don't have the right immigration documents, the legal papers to live and work in the US. Okay. Yeah. And even if, for example, you have a degree from back home and you are here, and whether you are here or Australia, and you don't have the right immigration documents, you can't really work in corporate world, because it requires you to have those documents. So you find a lot of our people, they don't work good jobs here in the US, okay, and yet they have the brains. Okay, all right. In fact, actually, if you do a little bit of research, you'll find out that even here in the US, and I think also it's the same thing with Australia, because these are first world countries and UK and all, Africans, they are one of the most highly educated groups of immigrants. Okay, but, and then also, if you compare the median household income by race, for example, Africans, Indians, Asians, white people, if you compare, the people who earn most, they are usually Asians, usually Indians. Okay, here in the US, okay, they make about $100,000 per year. Okay, if you compare with what we make as Africans, it's so low. Okay, it's less than 60,000. The group, the African group, which makes the highest amount of money here in the US, and I believe it's the same across the diaspora, it's Nigerians. Okay, they make around $60,000 per year. Okay, you can imagine $60,000 per year. It's our best, right? And you're comparing that with Indians who are making about 100,000. So you can see the gap. Even Indians, they make even more than the white Americans. They're mostly in the tech industry. Okay, if you go even to the best neighborhoods around Tampa, where I live, other than the white people, the immigrants who will find there, they're usually Indians, because they're in the right careers where there's money, especially in the tech space. Okay, so I realized that there's a lot of our people, they have the brains, because we are very smart. Okay, most of us come here to study, but we don't make good money. Okay, and one of the reasons is because most of our people, we don't really have the right documents. Because if you don't have the right documents, then you're gonna be working these other jobs that will pay you under the table. A job will pay you maybe $10, $15. Okay, so I was like, I need to come up with a solution that will take care of all those problems that we normally have as a community. Okay, problems of funding, okay, problems of getting good jobs in corporate America, okay, and also problem of getting papers, okay, legal working documents here in the US. Okay, so because of that, now when I came up with all that, I formed a program called the Kenya Airlift program. Initially, I used to call it International Scholars Program, but now I got a very good member of county assembly from my home, heard about me and all, and he came on board and he came up with some really, really good ideas, and the program metamorphosed into what we know now as the Kenya Airlift program. Okay, so this program, basically what we do is we bring brilliant Kenyan students who want to come and study IT-related master's programs here in the US. Okay, we don't take anything that is not, for example, if you want to come and study nursing, okay, which a lot of our people like doing, you can't come through the program, because, also as a company, we are more of like an IT consulting firm. Okay, so what we do in the program is we source for funding for those students who are coming through the program in terms of graduate assistantship awards. These are usually more of like work. They're more like scholarships where you have to have some work arrangements with the school. So they pay part of your school fees, and then also they give you a job within the school as a graduate assistant, helping out the professors and all that. And then also they give you a stipend every month. Okay, so we work with schools that usually offer those kind of awards, and then also because normally, even if you get an award, it won't cover everything. Sometimes it covers just half of the tuition. Okay, because normally here in the US, international students, they usually charge twice as much as what the locals would be charged. Okay, yeah. So even if you get a full graduate assistantship award, it means full in-state for the locals. So there's still almost the same amount that actually you have to pay as an international student. Yes.
Yeah.
And most of our international students, most of Kenyans usually, I mean, honestly, they don't have that kind of money. So you have to come up with something. So even if you get an award and you can't pay the other remaining amounts, then what's the point of even getting the award? So what we did was also, we went ahead and looked for lenders that can be able to lend these students who are coming through our program and lend unsecured international student loans.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yes. So amazing. These are loans that you don't need any cost, you don't need any collateral, what you call security back home. Okay. So all you need is to show that you're smart. Okay. And the way that you can show you're smart is by going to one of the schools that these lenders work with, because they don't just work with any school out there, because we have like thousands and thousands of universities here in the US. Okay. Here in the US, actually, you can even come to study even if you scored a D in Kenya. I mean, there's every school for everybody.
Opportunity.
Okay, yes, there's opportunities for everybody. Anyone can come and study here. But they don't just work with anybody out there, because these are unsecured international student loans. Okay, because these are unsecured, they can't just dish out money to anybody just because you want to come and study here in the US. Okay, because I mean, they have to mitigate the risk. So what they do, they work with those students who have a high chance of getting a job. Okay, and indicators of someone who can get a job quickly or who has a high chance of getting a job is someone who is smart. Okay, and the only way that you can show that you're smart is either going to one of those schools that they work with, and also they don't just actually support any program. Okay, mostly they will support IT programs, because anybody who is doing IT, they are usually like smart people. Okay, like if you are taking some IT programs, they are usually very challenging. So they know that if you are taking, like, for example, analytics program from one of these big state universities, you must be a smart kid. Okay, so they know that. And then also they look at your entrance exam score. Okay, now when you come to the US as a master's student, because we support only master's students, they also support only master's student, or if you're in your undergraduate, at least you have only 2 years left to finish your undergraduate. So you have to show that you have a good GMAT score. You know, the kind of exam that they normally do, those who are coming through our program, it's called Graduate Management Admissions Test. Okay, and you have to have a good score even for you to get to these schools. So that's one of the things that you have to have for you now to get these loans. So we get them funded through graduate assistantship awards and unsecured international student loans. Okay, now when these students get here in the US, we have to also help them, because I say one of the main problems that we have as Africans here in the US and as Kenyans is the fact that we have so many bright people here who actually are not doing very, very well. As much as people back home think that we make so much money. You know, back home, everybody thinks like we are rich, right? But we are actually not. Right? But when you look at it closely, we are not even close to like these guys who are doing very, very. We should be comparing ourselves with Asians, not people who are back home, because you can't really compare the two, right? So anyways, so because of that fact that our people are not doing well here, so we decided we're gonna be training these guys who are coming through that Kenya Airlift program on the latest IT job skills. Okay, now as a company, what we do, apart from just the Kenya Airlift program, we do our core business here in the US is actually training programs. We train people on the latest IT job skills, skills that I was also trained on, the same skills that made me get into the tech industry. Okay, so we have training programs on robotics, process automation, business analyst. We also have training program on robotics, process automation developer. We also have training program on Oracle Financials. That's the kind of technology that I was trained on, and it's the technology that made me get into the tech industry. We also have training program on artificial intelligence and machine learning. These are like the latest job skills that you can get in the tech industry.
Kenya? I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah. These jobs, we see with IT, whether you're in the US, whether you're in Kenya, all these big companies, they utilize these technologies to run their business processes.
So if mtu akoje, just to cut you short, someone comes train with you and want to go back, that means ako one step ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And for us, you see, there's a lot of also agencies out there that can bring people in America. Okay. Even you don't even need an agency, by the way, to even look for a school and find a school and come here. Okay. But we realize that if you're smart, we should be able to increase your chances of getting a job. Okay, because there's really good jobs here in the US. Okay, I used to work in the tech industry. I used to make a 6-figure salary. I left a very well paying job before I started my company. Really getting paid well. Okay, you know, those kind of jobs that you'd say like it's a dream job for most of the people. Okay, so for you to be able to get those kind of 6-figure salary jobs, you can't just have just any skill, you know. Yeah, you can't say, for example, because most people who are coming here for their masters, maybe they had worked in Kenya, for example, like the way I'd worked at Equity Bank as a teller. Honestly, a teller job here in the US, it's for people who are just finished high school. Is it the same thing in Australia?
Absolutely, that's true.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now, how can you can't claim like, you know, you can get good money when you are working as a teller. No, even if you have a master's. And that's what a lot of us, because in Kenya, where most of the people when they graduate usually get teller jobs, you know, like those kind of jobs, right? You won't get good money with those kind of jobs here in the US, and you won't be able to get papers. You know, you can't get sponsored when you are working as a teller because there's so many Americans who are looking for the same jobs like those. Yes. So how will the company be able to prove to the US government that, you know, you have skills that Americans don't have? So you have to have the right skills that they need.
So coming,
okay.
Bob,
yes.
So Bob, coming to the program, the Airlift program.
Yeah.
You just mentioned that you do things to do with tech and business. So,
correct. Yes.
Oriented courses, and you mentioned that you got a partner who is your area MCA who is working with you currently to do the program, of which I hope and wish that in prayers that one day my area MCA would. I hope he's following. That's a story for another day.
Yes.
So in that regard, does it have to, these people, the scope of area that you bring these people from, is it from just within your area or anyone across Kenya, so long as going to that industry that you're doing the program with?
Good question. Now, the Kenya Airlift program is actually open to anybody, any smart Kenyans, in Kenya. It's not for that ward where the MCA comes from. Yep. Initially, when we started the program, we thought of try to bring his people here, but we found out that there's so much demand for everybody in Kenya. So we opened the program to everybody. And in fact, actually, the highest number of people who are in that program are usually from your community, Kalenjins, and also
we are champions always, Mike.
Yeah. I think also you guys are usually, because I've been asking my partner, like, how comes you're getting, you're not even like, because you'd expect, because you are Merus, like you'd get a lot of Merus into the program. But actually that's not the case. And I was asking, like, how come? And I think Kalenjins also, they are usually they are very close as a community, you know, because I think the way students end up getting into the program is someone telling it the other one, you know, there's this and there's this opportunity, so they end up coming. So we have a lot of Kalenjins in the program, and Kisis as well. So those are like the majority, and I think then Kenya. So the program is open to anybody in Kenya, as long as you're smart, you scored at least a B in KCSE with a B+ in math in KCSE, and a second-class division in any major, and you are willing to study an IT-related master's program. Okay, now the kind of IT master's program that you want these students to study, it's not those hardcore IT masters, because also we realized a lot of our people, they usually don't have very technical degrees back home. Even if you passed, mostly you'll find out maybe those who score like B pluses, they have like BComs, economics, sociology and all those. You can still do an IT master's program, because I get a lot of people asking me like, how is it possible that you can be able to do an IT master's program when you don't have an IT undergraduate? It's possible, because the kind of IT master's programs that you want these guys to do in the Kenya Airlift program, these are usually analytics program. Okay, we are not, for example, we can't tell you to take masters in computer science if you have a sociology undergraduate. You can't be accepted even by the school. Okay, so but with that kind of undergraduate, you can actually do, for example, Master of Science in Business Analytics. Okay, because that business analytics program, it doesn't require you to have a very techie background. Okay, because normally when you come here also, there are some prerequisites that you have to do as you are pursuing your master's. So you can do those prerequisites as you pursue, and these are usually undergraduate level classes, and you can be able to do that as you do your master's. Yeah. So just to finish off on how the Kenya Airlift program works. We get them trained on the latest job skills that we normally train here. So as these students pursue their masters in the US, at the same time also, we train them on these skills on the side. Okay, our programs, we run them entirely online. Okay, so as they pursue their masters, they are also getting trained on these job skills. So in those 2 years, they are doing their masters. By the time they graduate, they already have the skills that are needed out there in the job market. Okay, for them to get good jobs in tech, in the tech industry, in the tech world. Okay, and now also, because as a company we do placement services, we're gonna be helping out these guys get good jobs, because also part of what we do in the program, we formed a circle within the program where also we give these students loans for relocation expenses, because we realized, you see, as you can get someone funded here in the US, because funding for school fees and all that, even if it's taken care of, even if it's taken care of, there's still some money that is needed for someone to actually get here in the US. That whole process, you don't just wake up today and then just come to the US, right? It's a process. You have to do those GMAT exams. They are very costly. You have to get your visas. It's costly. You have to pay for service fee. You have to pay for immunizations. You have to pay for air tickets. You also have to pay our consultation fees as a company, or what we charge. So it's a lot of money. So there's a lot of people out there, they don't have that money. So we came up with an idea of forming a circle for the program called the Airlift Circle. Okay, so this circle, we got some money also from the county government of Meru. They've really supported us as seed capital for the circle. And now, because those who are joining the program, they contribute $1,000 to join the program. So all that money goes into the circle. Okay, and now the circle uses that as a revolving fund. And wherever a student is coming, because many students are joining, but it's not like they are leaving immediately. Like, for example, you get a student now joining the program almost every other day. It's not like every other day a student is leaving, no, right? So there's so many joining, but at the same time, it takes almost a year to a year and a half for actually someone to come here. So we have money that is revolving within the circle that we can be able to lend to those students who are coming for their expenses, air tickets, all those other expenses that they need, even for their part of their pocket money when they are here. Maybe the first month of their rent before they even start working in school. All that, we take care of that through the circle. So that's really how the program works in a nutshell. Yeah.
Quick one. I know I might take you back to where we've come from, but I just want you to just give us a quick 2 minutes explanation on how, from the moment the person joins you, or at what point would this person start to going to to the US or coming to the US or flying into the US, what is involved in between here? That is there an exam that one ought to do? Is how do people get to know you? How would they join you and all those kind of stuff? Just in 2 minutes, then we go to the next.
Okay, good. So usually anybody who is interested in the program, we have the program website. It's www.kenyaairliftprogram.com, www.kenyaairliftprogram, program as in program.com. When someone goes to that website, they can be able to download the Kenya Airlift Program Handbook, which basically details everything about the program, the schools that we work with, the kind of programs that they're going to be studying here, the kind of master's programs they're going to be studying, basically everything about the program. Okay. Also, because we realize that as much as we have a lot of information in that Airlift Program Handbook, still people usually have questions. Okay, there will always be questions here and there. So what we did was we formed a Telegram group of prospective students. So anybody who goes to the website and downloads the program handbook, they usually get a follow-up email from us, an automated one, with a link to join our Telegram group, where now in that Telegram group, we usually answer all questions about the program. Okay. You also have like frequently asked questions posted there. And also we have the next steps of onboarding, okay, in that group. So it's a very vibrant group. We have like thousands of students now in the group. Okay. So they familiarize themselves with what the program is all about. You have a lot of videos there, because of the fact that this program, we run it on the internet. We also need to create a relationship between us and those prospective students who want to join the program, because a lot of people out there, they have questions back, because as a Kenyan community, we are not very trustworthy. Sorry to say that, but people have questions about these kind of things. They'll be like, how come you can be able to do something like this? Are you not really? I think you may be wanting to get, yeah, exactly. So we understand all those concerns, and that's really why we put this group there for these students to ask those pertinent questions that they may want to ask. Any question about the program, we want to build that relationship for you to feel comfortable. You can do your due diligence there. You can go on YouTube. You can search me. You can search about the program. We've won awards about this program. We've been featured on TV, KTN, NTV. I've also been featured on the international TV station called Voice of America in Washington, D.C. about this program. So we give them that time to do their due diligence and ask questions as much as they can before they join the program. So once they are comfortable, then they join the program, no rush. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now once a student joins the program, they contribute the contribution that they have to make, which is $1,000. Okay, and they register with the SACCO, they pay that dollars for that. So once they do that, and by the way, they don't have to pay $1,000 upfront. They can pay by installments, 4 installments. When the student now finishes paying the installment, we book the GMAT exam for them. So that $1,000 really, okay, because also people sometimes they don't get it this right. So that $1,000 a student is contributing into the program, it's basically your escrow contribution, okay, to take care of the expenses that you incur in the whole process. Because we don't want to have a situation where we are running after a student, telling them, okay, now we need $30 to apply to the school. Now we need $250 to apply for GMAT exam. Now we need $150 to apply for the visa interview. Now we need $350 to apply for service fee. Like, if you, we don't want to be rushing after people, because you know how when you're dealing with so many people, it can be crazy. Okay, so
all those money goes into
they put that money into their escrow account with the SACCO, and we use that now for all the expenses that are related with the program all throughout until they come here. Okay, and now they said for we expect them to study. We have a lot of GMAT materials. we give them access to our training portal. They start studying for their GMAT. This GMAT you have to study on your own. So that's why we require like really good students. Yeah.
Ni kama English yenye iko hapa imetuweza kabisa. Tunarudianga
sasa hiyo GMAT iko English and mathematics. So and also that's why also we require like you must have done very well in math in high school. Like with most of the your GMAT exam, it's usually like high school math. Okay, so you must be good in math. So they study by themselves on their own, and then you are supposed to get at least a score of 550 out of 800, which is actually not. That's not an easy score to get. Okay, yeah,
truly understand.
Yeah. Because see, if you really what I always tell people is this: if you are looking to get a scholarship, no school will give you a scholarship if you are just average. Absolutely. It's what it is. Scholarships are usually given to smart people. They are given by merit. Not just because you need one. Because I always see people, they ask me all the time, like on Facebook, everywhere, right? Like, hey, Bob, how can I get a scholarship? Even like if you go to our company's website, I've done a lot of like 6 months of research to get links to scholarships across the world. But a lot of people, even they don't have all the time to go there and even apply. But they keep on asking about scholarships.
The same
scholarships
thing
are not just given to anybody,
Absolutely. Tell them, Bob, you maswali hata sahi I open you my inbox. Mtu tu anauliza scholarship.
Scholarships. Like you have to be smart for you to get a scholarship. These scholarships are usually merit based. So anyways, in the Kenya Airlift program, the schools that you work with, these are like very top schools, okay? They are usually state universities. And for you to get into their analytics programs, you have to be good.
Actually, someone is asking on the comment section, is saying, thank you so much for this, the show. Apart from the Airlift program, what are some of the other opportunities and courses? And what are some of the universities that you work with? So as someone is asking, what are some of the universities that you work with?
Yeah. I can definitely give that information. So we do work with we have right now we have around 5. There's 2 more that we are adding. We keep on expanding this list because what we are trying to do is we keep on trying to find those universities that that we can partner with and that have programs that we want and also that are not very expensive. At the end of the day, what we want is to have a student come here in the US, not spend so much money studying. Okay, we want to minimize that as much as possible. All right, and then get into a very good program, and that's really what we want. So right now we have a University of Alabama in Huntsville. We have a student there. We have students at Illinois State University. We also have student.
I was to join Illinois State University. Alafu hiyo ikafail ningeenda ingine inaitwa kuna ingine inaitwa Pennsylvania ama inaitwa
Pennsylvania State,
Pennsylvania State University ko Pittsburgh or something.
So hiyo ikaanguka.
Part hasa ndio.
And by the way, do you know even me, because remember I told you like I was married visa so many times. I had even started applying to trying to go to Australia and Canada. I had gotten accepted at Canadian school, and I had started some applications to some universities in Australia.
Oh wow!
And then I got one. I went to school in Pennsylvania, University of Indiana, University of Pennsylvania. So that's where I went to school. So after I got the US visa, I was like, let me just go to the US. But I would have probably ended up in Australia. Who knows? Anyway, so we have Illinois State, University of Alabama. We have students here in University of South Florida here in Tampa. Right now, we're also working with another school called St. Leo University here in Tampa as well. A very nice private university run by the Catholic Mission. Also, right now we are putting applications for a school called Grand Valley State University in Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Very good state universities, then they usually charge an in-state tuition. So we are still getting new universities that are also very, very affordable. We also have South Dakota State University, also a very, very affordable school that has some really, really good programs, and they also offer in-state tuition. Okay, so, and this is, I usually tell students when they ask me this kind of questions in our Telegram group, that whatever university that we have right now, that's not just the university that we're going to be working with. As the program expands, you're going to be looking at other schools that have very affordable school fees. And also, as long as they are partnering with the lenders, then they offer these graduate assistantship awards, we're going to be willing to work with them. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Did I finish the whole process? Let me finish maybe. So once the student does the GMAT exam, then the next step is usually now to start the applications to the schools for the programs that they want to study. We usually apply to a max of 3 schools for each student. Then now after that, once the student gets accepted, we now start applications to their graduate assistantship awards. Then once they get that, then now we start also applying for the student loans, international student loans, because for you to come here, for the school now, even if you get accepted, they have to issue you with something called I-20, which is an immigration document that you take to the embassy that shows you have the finances, to study here. And that's where you are able to show that by showing your loan from the lenders that you work with. And also we have 2 lenders. One is called Prodigy Finance and another one Empower Financing. And also the graduate assistantship award. So that we use that now for you now to get your I-20. And that's what you use now to come here and, pay for your studies. So that's the process. Usually, on average, you get a lot of students failing GMAT the first attempt, even though these are very smart students for some reason. But on average, it takes about a year before someone gets here.
After finish, when do you get paid all these loans? Unajua kuna watu wengine tunakopa loan, hizi loan tunalipa namna gani? Tunarudi kuuza shamba ya nyumbani ama kuna venye?
Yeah, so these loans, the lenders, they require to start repaying 6 months after you graduate.
Oh, okay.
And even as the SACCO, our SACCO, whatever loan that we give you for your relocation expenses, we'll give you until when we get you a job here. So we also have to find you a job, because at the end of the day, you have to pay our SACCO as well, the loan. Okay, and even these lenders that we get you the loans, you have to start repaying 6 months after you graduate. So that's why you are making sure that we train you, all those things, not just coming here. Then if you come here and you have a loan of, let's say, for example, $10,000, are you going to repay that if you don't have, structures in place that will help you find a job? So we've thought about all that, and that's why you have all those structures in place to help you find a job once you graduate. Now, another thing that we are trying to do also in the program is that because as a company, really, we are trying to build a consulting firm of brilliant Kenyans in America. Okay, so we are getting a lot of business from Kenya through this program. Okay, we also need brilliant, smart people to actually help us build the company. All right, so we're gonna be we basically want to be self-sustaining, even with the external lenders that we have currently. In fact, actually, once our circle grows, we don't need external lenders to lend tuition fees. Rather than just the circle giving the students expenses, relocation expenses loans, they can actually get even tuition loans rather than us using external lenders, because we can be self-sustaining. The more you're getting a lot of students coming in through the circle and coming in through the program, we also need, as a company, you're going to need people to help support us, the business, help us, grow the company. And we're going to be able to absorb some of these students who are graduating, and they can be part of us, and we form a consulting company to implement IT projects across the US and even for companies in Kenya. Yeah.
Wow.
You're watching Success with Bob Mwiti show, presented to you by Appstech America. Appstech America is a consulting company that helps immigrants find amazing higher education and job opportunities in the tech industry in the United States. You can find our programs by going to www.appstechamerica.com. Appstech America, we wake you up to the unlimited potential within you.
So allow me to read some comments. Someone is saying, Eddie Korir, may I ask, I'm continuing student at the university. Will it be possible for me to get scholarship? Of course, we said that earlier before. Caroline Chepsiro saying, tuned in. Eldoret, Edina Union says that tuning in from Kansas City. You're doing great job, Bob.
Thank you.
Petrolina Sirma watching some of the I think as that asking about some of the universities that you just mentioned. Raymond Ray saying I'm following. Kirui Keegan saying I'm in. Great show. Regina Kosgei. She was asking what is the topic, and I've already replied to her. Someone from Qatar is saying getting loud and clear. Ambassador and Bobby following. Great show. So as we continue, for those people who have just joined in.
There's a comment here I saw that says you go to USA ukatakatwe too. Okay, let me address that. I see a lot of our people, they have limiting beliefs. Okay. Something happens and then they think, oh, I can come there and then I'll be the next victim. Okay. We have we have millions and millions of immigrants in this country. And I mean, every country there's things here and there. So those out there are usually thinking, and those usually have limiting beliefs, probably maybe it's just a way of, I don't know, man, it's just a way of consoling, massaging their ego. Okay. But if you're serious, if you want to, if you want to come to America, if you want to come to Australia and all that, come. Don't worry about what happens. Okay, these are isolated cases. So just come here. There's a lot of opportunities. No one will cut you. The one who is saying you cut. So just come. Don't have those limiting beliefs, man. Just come here and you'll be good. Yeah, people always have something that they want. There's a lot of people out there. They see what blocks them from doing something. And it's not just even coming here, even opportunities. They don't see the opportunities, all they see is what is blocking them. They don't see the other side. Yeah, and so many people are like that.
That is definitely, I quite often also tell this, my peers that Jaribu, everything is about kujaribu. And it shouldn't be always that one person. It should be always Alfred.
Yeah.
We should celebrate you today. It shouldn't be always Bobby. We should celebrate someone else. So
absolutely,
any person out there, and it is not a crime to ask questions. At times maybe nimechoka ama nimekuwa job unauliza nisipokujibu saa hiyo maybe nimechoka, but at some point in time I will answer you. So the best thing to do is ask, and it will be. And even the Bible is written, ask and it will be answered. It will be given to you. So someone before we go, someone is asking you, my brother did environmental science and want to pursue PhD. Can he get the program? Is it also always just for masters or?
It's just, our program is just for master's students because of the fact that we can't get you a loan if you are coming to do a 4-year course. So these lenders also, they only work with you if you have to graduate within the next 2 years. And a master's program, the good thing with a master's is that you can graduate within a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
One last one in that area before we transit to the next question.
Yeah.
I've deposited my $100,000 or $1,000
yes.
To the account.
Yes.
I do the GMAT exam, I fail. I do it again, I fail. What happens? Will I get reimbursed the money, or what will happen with the money, or will it be a reimbursed minus the money that have been already used? What is the scope of
good question
business?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, we get that question a lot. You can imagine that's usually the first question that you get from the program. So okay, the first thing that I usually want to tell anybody who's really want to get into our programs, we are very serious program. We are very strict in terms of those that we want into the program. We want you to get into the program to be serious also, because what I've seen also with people, there's a lot of people out there. They're usually one leg in. They're like, let me see what's gonna happen. So they put one leg in and then the other leg is out. Okay, so we usually discourage that. So we want anybody who is coming through the program to be ready to work hard and be ready to come here. That's the whole point of really joining the program. Why should you waste all your time, like 1 year, and then you won't end up even coming here? Because if you don't have, like, if you are not really serious about the program, you may even, let's say, for example, you may even be able to get the GMAT score, and you may even be able to get you accepted, but also you may not be very serious, and then you're not even able to get the visa, because also visa is an impediment. So we have a really, really robust visa coaching program, so that we increase the chances of these guys getting visas. And actually, so far, none of our students has been denied visa because of the work that we do. Because even for us as a company, we can only get our consultation fees that we charge after you've gotten the visa. Okay, if you don't get the visa, then we can't get anything. So we make sure, so we want to make sure that anybody who is coming through the program, they are really, really serious students. Okay. Now, to answer your question, we do refund, but there is also non-refundable fees of $500. So if you come to the program and for one reason or another, you're not able to succeed in the program, expect to not to get $500 back, plus the expenses within the program. Let's say, for example, you had applied for your passport, maybe you had already booked your GMAT exam, maybe we had already, let's say, for example, you failed at the visa point. So that's what it is. But that's not to make someone free. I don't like people freaking out. Okay, but I'm also a very straightforward person. Like, I say things the way they are. I don't like sugarcoating things.
Which is very true, because because
also I want to attract
straightforward.
I want to attract in the program the best. I don't just want to attract anybody just
Numbers.
because just because they hear about this Kenya Airlift and they hear about all these things and they want to come. No, I actually want to attract the most serious candidate. So I say the way things they are. So of course I scare a few people, that's fine, but I want the best student to get into the program.
I would nasemanga, I would say this in Swahili, biashara ama kazi hata mkimbiaji.
Yes.
Wezi amuka asubuhi because you are running with your best friend, unasema I won't run hard because it's my friend sitaki kumshinda, or I won't run hard today. It is about being straight on, honest to yourself and honest to those people that you work with. Baadaye friendship, baadaye kazi muhimu. So it is not about numbers, but it's about quality. Quality is more important. So I hope everyone is following. Following everyone. I can see someone called Osea from South Australia is saying this is a great show. I hope our people are listening and following. Jalakat and Dorothy is saying very insightful show. So thank you so much, Bobby. Unless there's something, we will come back, unless we have gotten something in between there. But the program I started, it's been working. Are there some, highlights since you've started, involving all these groups that you say you work together, the partners, also from the people that you support, I would say your mentees, or are there some highlights in between since you started? Like that moment that you feel?
So see, we've had a lot of we like in this program. Really, we've been learning a lot. Also, when you're starting something this big, see also Alfred, this is a big undertaking for me and my partner. Okay, and I've put in everything in this program for it to work. Okay, a lot of people out there know about this program. A lot. We've been featured on national TV. So this program, we don't want it to fail in any way. Okay, we want it to keep on growing and prosper, because we know what it can solve. Because we have a very, very persistent problem here in the US for Kenyans. And that's really what you are trying to solve. Remember, I said this is not just about coming to the US to study. There's much more than that. A lot. In fact, actually, most people, when they hear about me talking about this program, that's when they get what exactly we are trying to solve. But when they're out there, they think, there's this program that is bringing people to the US. No, it's not just about coming to the US. There's way much more than that. Okay, and we've had a lot of challenges within the program. For example, with GMAT exam, students not passing. Initially, even when we started, we only had I just bought a couple of books, And we were giving a student, then they finish studying, then they give the others. By the time they give the others, the book is already worn out, and then so those kind of teething problems, we had them, right? And so far, but with time, we've identified how we can keep on improving what we have, and with our own resources. Okay. And also the other thing is, see, right now, what we are giving, even with our SACCO, is just the relocation expenses. We can only give a max of 3 times as much as what a student contributed, but we want to be giving more. Okay, we want to be giving more. So if we can be able to enroll, because it's all about numbers. Basically, the SACCO is a bank, and a bank relies on people coming in and depositing the money, because that revolving fund is what you use to give to those who need, those who are coming to the US. Okay, so our challenge right now is more on like marketing and getting people coming in numbers. Okay, so that now we have enough revolving fund to be able to fund ourselves without having even looking for external lenders to lend us money. If we can be able to lend ourselves within the SACCO, that's like the best thing that can ever happen. Because even these lenders, that's actually the lenders that we use, Empower Financing and Prodigy Finance, these companies, they're not like the one who actually lend the money. Okay, when you apply for the loan, it comes from them, but they actually they are funded by, they work with banks. Okay, so they have banks that fund them for them now to lend. Okay, for them now it's like the front office. They do everything online. Okay, so for them it's like the front office. They give you the loan, they check your qualifications and everything, they underwrite. But where the money is coming from a pool of banks that have invested and investors who have invested. And actually, these companies were formed by international students like me, who came to the US, and they had exact same problems that we are facing, we are trying to solve in this Airlift program. So I keep on saying this. Our Airlift SACCO, this is a bank. Okay, it's basically the same model. Okay, it's basically the same model. What we are trying to do also is look for partners within our SACCO who really understands the problem that you are trying to solve. I've actually tried to reach out to big banks in Kenya. Okay, but frustrations all over the place. You see, also crazy. When you are small, and I had someone say, comment in our group. One student commented and they said this, Bob, this program of yours, a few years down the line, some of these banks that don't even want to listen about the program will come looking for you.
They will.
And I was like, this is true. Okay, because the moment now when things start clicking and things are working and they clearly see exactly what you are trying to achieve, or to achieve, they're gonna start now coming and wanting to work with us. But that's the nature of the game. Anyways, that's what happens. Even when you have a small companies, when you are starting. When I started my company in 2017, I couldn't even get a loan from my own bank.
No one will give it to you. Yeah.
No one.
But once you give them the numbers,
for example, even like the schools that we actually work with, when we started, some of these schools, they didn't want to even to hear they don't want to know what you are doing. Until you start sending students there, then they start seeing, and then they start working with you. So that's how things work. So those are some of the teething problems that we face in the program. Okay, but the good thing is, we are into this, and we are really focused into making this a success. We've seen how beautiful it is, even for the students who are coming. You have students coming here who've never been on a plane before. Students who are coming who never thought they would ever land in America. Okay, and I've seen it, because normally now what we do is they usually come through Tampa. We spend some time here, a few days, at least 3 nights with them, bonding. I take them to the beach. Florida is a very nice place, by the way. It's like the Mombasa of Kenya, Yeah, there's a very nice weather here. They come here, we spend some time, we choma, kanyama kidogo. Us Kenyans, right? We kula ugali. Yes. And then also we have other events in Kenya. Like, for example, we hosted the students this December at Safari Park Hotel. You know, we get there, we bring them there to suffer, and this is free. You know, they go there, we eat together, buffets and all that. Some of these students, even they've never been even to a 5-star hotel. So this program is created like and when we make them also talk, you know, like there's so much that we are trying to help them, you know, even have that confidence of talking in front of people. Yes, absolutely. We get covered by the media people. They can give interviews and things like those. Those are some of the skills that you want these guys to have. And you know, there's no other program like that that can be able to help them, these guys. So this is really what we want. And when they come here, we give them the advice, like what should you do once you come to the US as an international student? What is the do's? What is the don'ts? How do you build your credit history? How do you do this? How do you do this? All those things. We do all that. That's why that's really what the program is all about. We are basically building a movement of brilliant Kenyans in America. We can do a lot of things. All we need is the numbers.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
What do we call now? You've told us about the positives. There are some down moments or any other, the challenges that you faced since you started this program, and also as you finish off on those challenges. Just give us.
Like I was saying earlier, some of the challenges that we've been facing is actually getting those partners for us with the circle to come on board. Okay. The other challenges has been to get as many students to come as quickly as possible, because these students, some of them are failing GMAT exams and all that. Because, like, for example, there's a student who just came this January. That student was among our first students. It took almost 2 years to get here. So we don't want students to be spending so much time by the time they get here. We want them to spend maybe at most 1 year for them to get here in the US. Okay. So those are some of the challenges that we've been facing so far. The other thing is just as much as now, since last year, end of last year, we've been having a lot of students joining the program. But we still believe that we can do much better. Okay, if we can be able to enroll, because see, this whole circle thing, it's all about numbers. Okay, and the more students that we can be able to enroll into the circle, the more revolving fund we have, because we don't have any partners, you know, behind the circle. That's why you have to use the external lenders. Okay, so those are the kind of, you know, challenges here and there that we face in the program. And the fact that also initially a lot of people really didn't embrace this program. You know, like, you know, the first year when we started the program in 2018, I enrolled only 3 students. 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, because we run the program entirely online. Okay, we don't have a physical location in Kenya, but you see, our to our Kenya back home, they are not used to this whole idea of online business.
Inaitwa briefcase office.
The moment you start talking about online, like they ask you, like, where is your office first? Okay, where is your office first? Wakisikia ati hakuna ofisi, hapana. So those are when you are new, those are the challenges that you face. But with time, I know after you've been featured on TV 3 times, 4 times now.
I saw you actually. You were on
MTV.
Daring Abroad.
Daring Abroad MTV, last like 2 weeks ago. Then we were featured again last year when another student, the other students came. I was also featured again in 2018, I believe, and I was featured on VOA, Voice of America. So those ones are, you know, they are helping, you know, spread the word out there that there's something like this, you know, and the students can join, you know. So those are teething problems that will always be there when you start something like this. I'm up for the challenge. I like the challenge. I love what I do. So
absolutely. And always it takes faith and
Oh yeah,
also
absolutely. Like I was
hard
telling you,
work.
this is a big undertaking, even for me. So I have to be at the top of my game.
Mhm.
Yes.
I remember whenever you start a company or whenever you're starting a company, there are always naysayers. There is always some challenges of finances.
Oh
There's
yeah.
some always some challenges of, what
Yes.
next, who to run to, and all
Yes.
those getting the clientele. And
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's about hard work, faith,
Yeah.
prayer, and
Yeah.
the focus and
Yeah.
watching. And it's slowly. You don't expect to hit 1,000, a million jackpot next day you
Yeah.
started it. So,
Yeah.
like you said, someone once told you that at some point in time you will be feeling the fruits
Yeah.
of it. But
Yeah.
as we finalize,
Hmm.
your advice to young men and women in Kenya and across the world, and a parting shot from your end.
Okay, good. So, well, this one will be a little bit biased because of the industry that I'm in. Now,
So fine.
yeah, and this is for any smart. I love working with smart people. I get excited when I'm dealing with smart people because I know the kind of potential that they have.
Mhm,
And I always like encouraging smart people, our people, to really look into, if you can, and if this is your like passion,
mhm,
because mostly back home you find out like people who scored B's and whatever. Sometimes they don't even get to do these technical degrees.
mhm,
Okay, because I don't know, because of the nature of our education system, mostly you'll find out that those who can do even computer science, they are usually like the ones who score A's and A minuses and all that. But actually, if you score like a B, I mean, anything C plus and above, you're always a smart person. So, anyways, so I usually encourage all the smart people out there, those who are very much interested into IT, to really embrace it, because there's a lot of opportunities in the tech space, not just here in the US, but everywhere across the world, whether you're in Kenya, whether you're in somewhere in Africa, Europe, in Australia, the opportunities are there. Okay.
mhm,
Now, the
mhm,
other thing that I always see people thinking about IT is that IT is all about coding. Okay. That's a myth. All right. And this is
mhm.
why. Me, I have a Bachelor of Commerce degree in accounting and finance, and I have an MBA. So I don't have any IT degree, but I worked in the IT industry as a systems analyst, making some really good money.
Wow.
Okay.
Mhm,
And I can't even up to today, and I have a IT consulting company. Okay.
mhm.
And I can't write even one single line of code up to today. Okay.
Kabisa.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so IT, it's not about coding, because many people out there, a lot of our African brothers and sisters, they think when you
Mhm,
talk about IT, it's all about coding. People freak out. Oh, I have
mhm,
to know Python, I have to know Java, I have to know C++. No, I don't know any of that.
mhm,
There's a lot of opportunities within, because IT is very broad. There's a lot of opportunities within the tech industry where actually you can do very well without the need of you knowing how to code. Like, for example, what I used to do, you can become a business analyst, you can become a systems analyst, you can become a quality assurance analyst, you can become a project manager. There's so many things within the IT industry that you can do as a consultant, and I always encourage people to get into consulting, because even in IT, there are areas within IT industry that actually don't pay a lot of money. You're gonna
mhm,
be paid just like any other. As much as people think there's money in IT, there's a lot of
mhm,
areas within the IT industry that actually don't pay you well. For example, if you're someone who really fixes people's computers in the office when they break down, like you come and fix the CPU and or the whatever the monitor. That kind of job won't pay you a lot of money. For example, even here in the US,
uh-huh.
that kind of job will probably be paying you like $15 to $20 an hour at max. And maybe you'll be saying, I'm in the tech industry. Okay, like for example, when my computer breaks down, I usually take it to the Geek Squad at Best Buy.
Mhm,
Right. Those guys who fake, those technicians, they don't get paid a lot of money. We have to be talking about these things, and our people need to understand this. Okay, so if you're working, if you go and do that kind of a job, being a technician, and you call yourself, you say you are in the tech industry and you are smart, don't do that, because that's really not where the money is. Okay, me, I realize the money is not there. Okay, the money is in consulting. For example, what I was trained on, I was trained to implement the Oracle system for companies, okay, from the front end. Okay, I'll give you an example. So let's say, for example, a company like Bank of America, when they buy a system like Oracle, which is basically a financial system that companies use to record their day-to-day expenses and revenue, they can't, because that system is a very complicated system, they can't use it immediately. Okay, so they need someone to actually come on board and implement that system based on the needs of Bank of America. Okay, so that's what I was trained on, to be that person now who comes to the company and understands company's business processes, and then now implements, for example, that Oracle system to be able to work for them so that now they can start using it on a day-to-day basis. Okay, now most of our people, what I've seen with us Africans is that, like, for example, I could have been, if I never went into the tech industry, I could have ended up being maybe that person who enters, because I had an accounting finance degree, I could be working in the IT department or in the finance department on the computer, maybe being the person who enters invoices, runs financial reports at the end of the month. But that kind of a job would probably have been paying you like $20, $25 maximum, even with so many experience, so many years of experience. Okay, but don't go to those kind of jobs. Be that person now, rather than now, for example, me being that person who enters invoices in an Oracle system, I got trained to be that person who sets up that Oracle system for a person like me to start using it on a day-to-day basis to enter the invoices. So that's really where you need to be. So that's what a lot of our people don't know, and that's what these Indians have perfected. They're mostly in the tech industry as consultants. You never see an Indian fixing a computer that is broken.
Wacha kusema ukweli sana.
Nipunguze volume, eh?
Punguza volume.
I mean, people need to know how to do these things. Like, come on, like, if you really, really want to get into a job that pays you amazingly well, you have to find that right job, not just anything out there. Just because you're working in corporate America, it doesn't mean that you'll be making good money. No. And these consulting jobs, actually, even back in Kenya, look, even back in Kenya, go to companies like, for example, Safaricom, Equity Bank, Barclays, their IT systems, implementations, those big implementations within those companies, go and look who is doing those implementations. Majority of them, they are people from India. They get them from Infosys, Accenture, Tata Consulting. They come and do implementations in Kenya, in South Africa, everywhere, even here in the US. You won't find our people doing those. You find most of our people, they are the ones who are entering invoices, running financial reports, doing this, like using those systems from the front end. That job won't pay you good money. And you keep on complaining, oh, my pay, I get paid, and then on the second week I'm broke. You're broke because even though you're smart, you're not in the right place.
Alafu nasikia tuko na consultant kutoka South Africa. Umezoea hiyo kitu sana. Hii kuna ukweli vingi umesema hapa. People are really impressed. Wanasema this is very educative, very informative, my brother. Thank you so much. Well said. Well said. Tech industry cannot operate without business mindset. So someone is saying so. Very insightful. Wow. Bob.
Yeah.
Unless there is anything that I've forgotten, but I think we've covered a lot. Unless there's something else you wanted to add on.
Yeah, maybe we'll come back next time. Let's leave it there.
Yes.
So that we have more next time to cover. We can't just give everything, right?
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
There'll be more truth and, more people will get to know more about, a lot of things. So we can always have another time to go through this.
Absolutely. So long as you've said the program is open for, not for people from
everybody,
only, open for
all
those
Kenyans of all walks of life. Yes.
So hiyo kazi ya kupigia debe utatuachia, halafu next time tukikuita
Yeah.
Tutakuwa tumeonja kadola kidogo ya Amerika huku AKL. Tujue inaonjaje.
Asante.
So, other than that, yeah?
So as a parting shot, just for anybody who is out there and they have someone maybe who is very smart and they want to get into the tech industry, they want to come through our program, just go to our website. It's www.kenyaairliftprogram.com. It's www.kenyaairliftprogram.com. Program, you spell it as PROGRAM, kenyaairliftprogram.com. You go there, you'll be able to get in touch with us, no problem.
Okay, perfect. Another thing will be great if after the show, maybe if you find the live thing, you comment on the comment section. Just put the website.
This is showing on your page, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I'll go there and I don't know whether I can be able to pin the thing, but I'll try. It might get lost in all the comments, but
and then it will be great. Perfect.
Okay, awesome.
From my end, I'm really grateful for your time and looking forward to hosting you again. Always, as it has been, Alfred Koech on AKL Show, sponsored by Lanson Foundation, Talent for Education. Till next time, God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
You've been watching Success with Bob Mwiti Show, brought to you by Upstack America. Come back next time to hear more steps and missteps that I took on the path to becoming a successful immigrant in USA. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn.